and stuff.
All right, live streaming is live. Ah, look at that. I see it on the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
It will literally start at 6.
Oh, look, we look much choppier on YouTube than we do on my Zoom screen. Yep.
Oh, really?
All right, 6 p.m. everyone.
Can you make me 10 years younger, please? Oh, are we being streamed?
I'm hearing a little bit of the feedback, not the feedback, but the delay. Just turn off the audio on your live stream wherever you're checking in on. There it is. I hear it. I'm hearing a little bit of the feedback, not the feedback, but
Okay. I just closed the, like, it's still, yeah, it's okay.
No, that's
right.
fine.
It's
Or
still
you
streaming.
could just,
No, I just closed the tab on it.
oh,
I don't need to double watch it.
Really? You don't want to hear a delay?
No, I don't.
So I'm going to hit the admit button and let everybody in.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Hello, everyone.
The worst.
Okay. Everyone is very prompt tonight. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you all for being here. We have a few people in the waiting room. We're going to give everyone just a minute to find their way in or to find their way to the live stream. We're on YouTube. That means you're on YouTube too, everyone. Just so you know. So we'll let everyone get set up and then we're going to get started.
And I just want to remind everybody, it might be a good thing to just mute your microphones. And if you would not mind, please rename yourself. Maybe just your first name and then your child's name and the grade, so we have a sense of what age your student is in our school. Okay, and the way that you do that is if you hover over your box, the 3 little dots, if you click those, it gives you a rename option. Okay, it's a handy little thing.
No, Lisa, we have heads shaking that they're not allowed
you're not
to do
able
it.
to. Okay, don't worry.
Oh, well.
I guess that's a function that we get as hosts.
You'll just tell us when it's your turn to speak. You'll share with us what grade your child is at.
Awesome. I think we still have people flowing in.
Or if you're a student, what grade you're in. Or if you're a teacher, what grade you teach.
Because we will have probably a full community of parents, students, and some faculty with us tonight.
Lisa and Donna, if you are able to keep admitting people, I do want to get us started. And all my friends at NEST know that we like to start a meeting with a check-in. See, I see you guys. I see you smiling. Oops, that's not the right button, you guys. There we go. So this is a tool we use. You are all old professionals at it by now, I think, at this point. But this is the mood meter, and this is something we use with our students. And it's a good way to check in with ourselves, to notice how we're feeling, and then to think about what we need in order to be present in this moment. So I just want to say that I know there are so many complex emotions. Sorry, there's an echo. If everyone could mute themselves. So thank you. I know there are so many complex emotions, so much uncertainty for so many people. And yeah, just a range of frustration and optimism and confusion, just a lot of things. So I'm sure that we've been all over the rainbow on the mood meter recently. But I really do want for us all to be able to listen and stay engaged tonight. So it's a good idea just to take a moment to think about how you're feeling right now and what you need in order to stay engaged. And it just helps us to know how the room is feeling as we enter into this listening session tonight. So if you want to just go ahead in the chat. It's not usually usually when we have a NEST gathering, we're not all starting in the red, but I definitely understand where all of those feelings are coming from and the frustration. So lots of reds and blues, some greens. Yeah, we're all over the place. So wherever you are is okay. Just like we tell our students, we're emotion scientists. We're not judging. It's just important for us to know where we are. And I'll just say, despite everything that's going on, I'm feeling yellow tonight. I always am grateful for the opportunity to be in community with you, and I know how strong this community is, and that we've been through a lot. We'll continue to go through things, but I know that we'll continue to center our values and our commitment to our students. So I know we're gonna be all right. With that said, I do just want to run through some guidelines for this evening. Knowing that emotions are high, it's important to have some structure to tonight. Lisa shared earlier today a form that if you'd like to sign up to speak, to please use that. So Lisa's going to put that in the chat again a few times. If you would like to speak, just fill out that form. Just a reminder that we're going to do 2 minutes per speaker. And I'm so grateful to Vivian for being here tonight. And I also just need to say that tonight is not going to be about answers because we don't have any at this point. There's still not really anything even in writing shared with us, but it's really important for us all to have a chance to be heard. So when you speak, we're just asking for everyone to really focus on sharing your own experience. All viewpoints, all experiences, everything you want to share is welcome here. So it's important that we all assume positive intentions, right? We're all here because we love our kids, we love the children of the city of New York, and we're committed to them. We're going to practice listening with empathy and honoring multiple perspectives. There are some great reaction buttons if you want to share your support or relate to what someone else is saying. Please feel free to use those. Lisa's going to be using the chat tonight to share the speaker order, so we're going to ask that we just keep the chat for that. We are going to kind of hard stop at 7. So if you don't get a chance to speak, there will be other opportunities, and you can certainly use the form if you want to share your comments in that way. We're not going to do Q&A tonight, but if you want to share a question, please feel free to fill out the form, and we'll collect all of those questions. Or if you share questions when you speak, we'll note those down. And as soon as we have more answers, we're happy to share them. So in a minute, I'm gonna give it over to Vivian, but I did just want to take a moment to remind everyone, our commitment to equity-centered accelerated learning has not changed. We are still very much committed to our ethos, right? Intellectualism, inclusivity, collaboration, and exploration, ensuring that all of our students are equipped with everything they need to lead lives filled with learning, discovery, and purpose. And we are very much committed to our instructional focus, right? To ensuring that every child sees themselves represented in the curriculum and sees children, cultures, experiences that differ from their own, right? That's that concept of mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. We are committed to giving our kids those advanced critical thinking skills that not just help their brains grow brilliant, but also allow them to affect change in the world and providing them with all the social emotional skills that they need in order, again, to affect change and to lead purposeful lives. So announcements will come and announcements will go, but this is the work that we're doing at NEST+m, and I'm just promising to you that it is not changing, that we love your kids and that we're always going to do right by them no matter what. And I still believe there's a lot of possibility. I really do feel passionate about equity-centered accelerated learning, and I know that that's possible. So I'm going to turn it over to Vivian in a moment to introduce herself, and then you'll all have a chance to share your experiences, your hopes, your dreams, and what your kids have experienced here. Students, if you are here, we would love to hear from you, and teachers, we would love to hear from you too. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and I really look forward to hearing from you. And I am so grateful that Vivian is here. She has been such a tremendous supporter of our community and such a tremendous support for me over these last couple of years. So I've done enough talking. I'm going to let Vivian speak before we hear from you. So Vivian, thank you so much for being here. You're on mute.
Oh, yep, there we go. Thank you, Principal Megan Lynch. And thank you, NEST+m community for showing up in this sort of virtual space we're in together this evening. As soon as the announcement, was made, in fact, it was Megan who sent me the announcement that had been shared to Megan. I think it might have been by Yulia, right?
Donna.
Okay, sorry, Donna. Sorry, Donna. And I wasn't so surprised, but how communication kind of rolled out, and that Megan is the leader of a citywide G&T. Didn't know before sort of everybody else. Always puts, I think, building leaders in a challenging position. Because as you all know, Megan always wants to be super responsive. And I, as a superintendent, want to also show up to places and spaces with families where I have answers. But I'm really not here able to answer a lot of questions. But I do want to show up, because I feel like as a superintendent, and a superintendent for your very unique and beautiful community, I have a responsibility to at least show up. So I'm here this evening, right, in support of NEST+m and your children and the teachers of your children. And obviously, Megan for me is been an incredible steward of the community from the moment she entered during a global pandemic. And, I know you all, and I could see sort of in the chat, while there are lots of reds and people talking about being in a lot of red and people talking about being fatigued, I also see, glimmers of people being hopeful, and people really clear that, because Miss Lynch is here, sort of everything's going to be fine. Now, Miss Lynch is not Wonder Woman. She kind of appears that way in many ways, but what she can't just make up something that she doesn't know right now, right? And nor can I. I value being super transparent and being very honest, but as the system is trying to figure out, I think, its next steps, I do believe, right, very much so, right, that your current NEST+m community, as you all live it and experience it, is going to continue to be a vital, strong, beautiful, rich, intellectually rich community. It's not an endangered species. I do not believe that. What I don't know, right, and I can say this is, I don't know what the upcoming admissions cycle is going to look like for the school. I don't know exactly what the future of citywide, right, G&T is going to look like. But what I do believe is happening as we're speaking is I do believe that I am going to return to the community. I do believe I'm likely going to return to the community with other DOE officials and engage the community, I think, in a structured, facilitated conversation. I know that from sort of showing up at some CEC2 meetings, one focused on G&T, and then I went to another CEC2 meeting the other evening. I show up to those meetings as a learner. So just sort of for full transparency about myself, number one, I've lived and breathed high schools my whole career. K-5 is like a beautiful, magical world to me, but it is not like my expertise. And I'm so grateful for Barbara Rossi. When Mark Berkowitz brought Barbara to the school, Barbara made magic happen. And over her time in collaboration with incredible teachers, that K-5 world was transformed. And I got to see that over a number of years. And I know that if I have a question about the K-5 world, I can't think of a better leader to go to than Barbara. I don't know if she's here this evening, but I have tremendous respect for her work, her passion, her commitment to what she shows up and does every day on behalf of your students. The NEST+m community is a solid community, and it's not going to go away. I think that the system is grappling with, how to ensure, I think that all students have a enriching K-5 experience in education. And it doesn't mean that you have to take away, right, from NEST+m to make that happen. I think there's so much expertise about accelerated learning and giftedness. And as Megan has helped me also understand, what neurodiversity really means and what it needs to look like in classrooms. So my commitment as a superintendent has always been, right, I have to be in support of the mission and vision of the 47 schools that I support and supervise. So, right, what's happening at New York City Museum, I have to support their mission and vision. I have to support the mission and vision of Stuyvesant High School. I have to support the mission and vision of LaGuardia, and I have to support the mission of a K-12 citywide. My job is not to undo missions and visions of school communities. It's to support the leaders in really strengthening, sometimes refining, sometimes tweaking their mission and vision, but it's not to change it. And I don't believe that a highly successful school with an incredible track record of excellence, it is going to be, what's the word I want to use? I know people feel, I think people feel under attack. And I think people are angry because they feel like they're being attacked. I don't believe it's the intention. But that doesn't take away from people's individual feelings. So I'm really here this evening, right? Like I showed up to these different sort of G&T conversations as a listener and a learner. And I'm really here tonight to try to continue to be in a role to advocate, right, for what works for NEST+m. I can't speak to schools that I don't support and supervise, but I think that there is a real need and a place for your school community in a very large and complex system. And so, from my perspective, I think all students, should be able to show up in a classroom that, values and affirms who they are, challenges and enriches, right, their intellectual curiosity, and strengthens their academic skills so they continue to have options as they move through a K-12 continuum. So I think that's really it. I am so deeply appreciative of Megan and her leadership of the community. She's not allowed to go anywhere. I tell her that all the time. She has led this community brilliantly throughout that pandemic in ways that I know, people really appreciated. She's bold, and her boldness and her advocacy is respected, certainly by me, and I think by the system. And anybody who gets to listen to Megan and be in her company, I think understands why your school right, is as successful, right, as it is. So I'm not sure, Megan, how you want to kind of proceed here. I know there were questions that were being collected.
Thank you, Vivian. I'm actually going to have Lisa facilitate the next section. So we asked people to sign up in advance to speak. The form is still in the chat if you want to continue to sign up. And we're going to do 2 minutes per speaker. Lisa will put the next 5 speakers in the chat, and we're just going to follow that speaker order. And Vivian, I just want to thank you again for being here and for your support for me, and more importantly, your support for our school community. We're really lucky to have you, and thank you for making the time to listen to our families tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to Lisa to get us going with hearing from our NEST+m community.
Thanks, Principal Lynch, and thank you, Superintendent Orlen. The first 4 speakers, and this goes in the order, I put it in the chat. It's Noah Harlan, followed by Edward Hasaka, followed by Robert Conte Sofia, and then Ali Gurvich, okay, in that order. So without any further ado, can Noah Harlan, do you want to unmute yourself? And Donna, is gonna assist us by timing. You have 2 minutes to share your experience of gifted and talented and what it means to be at NEST+m. Noah, are you present?
I am. I think Donna wanted to say something first. So.
Donna, yes.
I'll be really, really brief. Thank you, Lisa and Noah, and thank you very much, Superintendent Orlen, for being here tonight and carving out some time in your busy schedule to engage with our community. We really appreciate it, and I think this gives us a safe space to gives our community a safe space to tell our stories and voice our opinions, whatever they may be. I just wanted to say, we were all, while we were not shocked by the news, the way it came about was shocking. And I think since we were all promised engagement, community engagement, and it never happened, I think that's what bothered a lot of us. And we feel betrayed. There's a lot of distrust now, even more so. And we just want the opportunity to, we're ready. We've formed, the PT has helped form a committee of ready parents who are going to work on advocacy for our programs and for all the future generations as well. And I know Miss Lynch has plans, she has visions, she has ideas. We just want to be able to talk to somebody. We are ready to engage and have meaningful, thoughtful discussions, if possible. We want to see changes. The G&T program has not been perfect. No program is perfect, but we see the flaws and we want change, and we're ready to make the changes, but not by getting rid of our programs. So thank you all for being here tonight, NEST+m community. And I'm going to turn it over to Noah.
Thanks,
Donna. Thanks, Donna. Thanks, Lisa, Megan, Vivian. So I'm the parent of a 5th grader. I'm also an elected representative on CEC1. NEST exists kind of in 2 states. We're in your CEC, but we're also in CEC1. So I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your sentiments. But I would also say that I think that you're addressing the wrong issue. I don't think that this group of parents collectively, the ones on this call and the larger NEST community, need a, hey, buck up, this community is going to be okay speech. I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think anyone's concerned about what NEST is going to be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. We know what that community is. What we're concerned about is the fact that this is an utter sham of a policy that is going to affect those who are going to come here next. And it's going to destroy the opportunities for so many people to come here next. And it's about accelerated learning more broadly. So if we're going to get rid of accelerated learning in the form of NEST and other accelerated high schools and G&T programs at the lower levels, district type of G&Ts, well, why should we have a LaGuardia? That's for kids who have to test in and be specially gifted in certain ways in the arts. Why should we have a ballet tech? We should get rid of all of them. Those programs are the same thing. They just represent different types of talent. And then we talk about this in the context of equity. And to be honest, the racism at work here is undeniable. First of all, let's look at our districts. Look at CEC2 and look at CEC1. CEC1 was redlining. You can see it. It was to keep the rich white people away from the Black and brown people in Manhattan Island. And if you look at the way these programs have been deployed, and as a high school superintendent, you go back to the statistics in the 90s, look at Brooklyn Tech in the 90s. What did it look like? And then how did you see that shift occur? It was a majority minority school. And then as you remove the accelerated learning from minority communities, those communities were not given the opportunity to excel in the 9 years of schooling that come before you hit high school. And so right now in the 10 districts in New York that are more than 90% Black and Hispanic, there are 6 classrooms of accelerated learning. That is where the problem comes in. And so our school is also a majority minority school, but it is the wrong minority for people who are trying to attack it. And the last thing I'll say, I know I've gone over point, is that you said the intention is not to be attacked here, that we're not being attacked. But I'm sorry, you haven't shown up then to the conversations. Go listen to the SDAG. Go talk to Shino Tanakawa and people like that. They say it outright. Their specific intention is to tear it apart. Their specific intention is to attack these communities and tear them apart, often after they have sent their own kids through them, I should note. And so our community believes passionately in accelerated learning, and we want it available to as many people as possible. Test everyone, don't test no one. And the last point on that is that right now I'm watching, I have a kid who's in, I see Donna, I have a kid who's in gen ed here in Brooklyn, and they're doing MAP testing. They're doing these assessments, but they don't want to call it testing because, my gosh, that would be terrible. But we need to do assessments. Call it whatever you want. We don't care. But make sure that kids have learning that is appropriately tailored for where they're at, so that by the time they reach high school, as elementary and middle schools, kids have been offered the opportunity to learn at and above grade level if those kids have those needs. So I'm sorry it's a little tough. But honestly, I think we have to be honest about the conversation that's being had and the intentions of this administration and this DOE. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. We appreciate it. The next speaker is Edward Hoskika. Can you unmute yourself, Edward?
I did. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Principal Lynch, Superintendent Orlen, thank you for being here. I think Noah's got it right. I am a public school kid. I did pretty well coming through public school in New York City. I've moved out of New York City to Florida, where the school wasn't as good as it was here. And I like the diversity. So when my daughter Hope, she's a 7th grader, I had the opportunity to send her to a school that was citywide, where kids from all over the city were going to be there. So New York City's benefit is this diversity, and you want kids to have experience in all these different cultures and people, because that's a better education. You're going to be more prepared for the world. I'm disappointed because it makes no sense. The goal of educating children is to figure out where they are and to take them as far as they can go. And what confuses me is the whole purpose of accelerated learning is because we know when kids are together that challenge each other, everybody benefits. And I guess the part for me that's the most distressing is that I do very well for myself. I could write a check and put my daughter into a private school in a heartbeat. I could. The people you're hurting by doing this are the people that can't write the check, that have an equal opportunity through testing to get their kid in a school like this that they could normally not afford. So what confuses me is, why are we attacking the people with the least resources? Because this gives their kids an opportunity to join with everyone else and get the same benefit. So if we're going for equity, What you don't do is say, we're going to change the system so that any parent with a kid that wants accelerated learning is have to write a check to do it. And it's not going to be in the Department of Education, which is sad because between charter schools, gifted and talented, we have so many examples. Principal Lynch does an amazing job communicating. We're all part of a community. I want every kid that can get in here to get in here, but it's unfair if we don't do something like testing because everybody can't go. So the fair, equitable thing to do is to get every single kid from every community across the city to those testing opportunities. And as Noah said, my daughter is a 7th grader. She's going to move up through with people who are already through the testing process. What about the kindergarten class coming in or the 1st grade class coming in? What are teachers supposed to do when you have a mix of kids and you're trying to support all their needs? So the bottom line is, to me, as a parent who doesn't get involved in these calls, I talk to other parents. I'm always available to help, donate, do what I can. This makes utter no sense to me when the mission is to teach kids, and accelerated learning is all about giving those opportunities to as many kids as possible and to take them as far as they can go. So my personal opinion is there is no logic to the decision. It makes no sense. There are 7 citywide gifted and talented schools. We're talking about an infinitesimal part of the population. Why in the world would you tear down something that's working and not go figure out how do we get more kids if we want more diversity, if we want more of communities in, and figure out how to get them into the program, not destroy the thing that we want them all to go to, because I can write the damn check and I have a lot of neighbors who can't. So what the mayor is doing is basically saying, if you have money, no problem, write a check, take your kid to Dalton, go anywhere. But if you don't have money, I'm going to take the opportunities away from you because I think I know better. And frankly, race to the bottom and mediocrity is not what New York City is about. I see this as a race to the bottom, and principals like Principal Lynch and the others who are trying to put these things together, they should have been consulted. They should have talked to them. There should have been planning. No large city like New York City should operate by surprise. And the part that's most disappointing is how it was done, not just that it was done. So I don't know if I've gone over time and said my piece, but I am just unsure of why we're doing what we're doing. It makes no sense to me.
Thank you, Edward.
Thank you, Edward. And the next speaker is Robert Conte Sophia. Robert?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm having trouble connecting to the video, so I'm hoping you can hear me.
No worries,
okay.
Robert. We can hear you well.
Okay, thank you. So again, my name is Robert Vincent Conte Sophia, and I'm a parent of my daughter who attends who's in NEST+m in the 11th grade. Some of you were previously acquainted with me through running for CCHS last year. But although I did not succeed in being granted that seat, I am grateful for all the NEST+m parents that voted for me, and I definitely appreciate everybody's support. Those of you who supported my candidacy last year recall that my key reason for running for CCHS was to help keep the gifted and talented program alive. Speaking as a parent of my daughter who excelled in this school and only continues to thrive with no end in sight, our soon-to-be out mayor should have focused his efforts on expanding this program instead of obliterating it. There are numerous ways in which NEST+m parents and those of the other G&T schools may voice their displeasure at Bill de Blasio's current position as he finally exits this office. We have the strength to move mountains by working together through the power of our vote, through the power of rallies, through the power of demonstration. It's not too late to make a change. We have to put our efforts, combine our efforts to help make a difference. As of this moment, the only mayoral candidate who has publicly condemned de Blasio's decision against G&T schools is Curtis Sliwa. Mr. Sliwa was kind enough to speak with me personally outside of Herald Square, Manhattan last week, where we discussed this matter for several minutes. His opponent, Eric Adams, has yet to definitely make the same commitment to keep G&T alive and has yet to return my calls and emails. That alone speaks volumes to me as a parent of a NEST student. Although I have been a registered Democrat my entire life, it has enraged me to watch how New York City went from its 1990s glory to what it's become today. Moving to end the G&T program was, as far as I'm concerned, the very last straw. It hurts me deeply to say I can no longer fully support the Democratic Party. As of this moment, and I'm not the only NEST parent that feels this way, I'm not the only G&T parent that feels this way, but I've decided to vote for Sliwa because he's the only one who is publicly committed that once he hits office, will keep G&T alive in its current state and actually expand the program. And that's what we should all do. It's not it's not my intent to tell people how to vote, but I'm telling it from my heart. The only way to keep G&T alive the way it is now and hopefully expand it so it becomes better and more inclusive is to vote for a mayor who is publicly supporting it right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sophia. And the next speaker, and speakers, I just want to remind you, I have a timer going. I don't know if you can hear it going off when it reaches 2 minutes. Just try to tune into that. Ali Gurvich. Ali Gurvich, sorry. Ali?
That's okay.
Hi.
Gorvich, it's
Gurvich.
my.
Sorry, Ali.
No, it's okay. I'm used to it. It's my married name, and I used to be Rosen, so that was much easier. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to Superintendent Orlen for being here, because I think that we all sort of feel hopeless and sort of frustrated by this process. So thank you for at least listening. I did not grow up in New York City, but I did go to a G&T school in South Carolina. And my husband did grow up in New York City, and he is a product of Lower Lab and then Hunter. So we believe very much in public schooling and the G&T programs and what it did for us. As adults, we just feel like it changed our entire lives. But I wanted to talk today because there's been a lot of talk about sort of not testing 4-year-olds. And my son Guy is in the first grade at NEST. He actually transferred in from Lower Lab, this year. And I just wanted to speak to this idea of neurodiverse students that need something different. My son is obsessed with math and math workbooks. He is different. I mean, he is not an average kid. He would rather sit and read a book or do a math workbook than do what a lot of other typical kids would like to do. And I have felt so blessed and lucky to have him in an environment where he is around kids who are like him, other kids that might have IEPs, other kids that might learn differently, other kids that might view the world through this academic lens that he seems to be born with. And when I see people attacking G&T, and I know you said it's not attacking, but it is, where people said, oh, this is just people prepping their kids and trying to force people into doing things. I mean, I would love some of these people to come sit with my son while he forces me to do math worksheets with him because he's so excited about it, and have them tell me that he should be in a class, when he's doing algebra, that he should be learning how to do, 2 + 2 when he's in first grade. And, I think that point is not being made enough. And then I'm sorry for going over, but I think that there is this impression that G&T parents want to make their kids out to be so special and unique. And, all we want is to have our kids in an environment that fits them. Just like a kid in special ed might need extra help, our kids need to be in an environment where they're learning with kids that are like them. The idea that you can't spot a kid like that when they're 4 or 5, I find laughable. And I would ask any of them to hang out with my son for 5 minutes and have him talk your face off about black holes and algebra and let me know that that's not true. But I appreciate the opportunity to speak. And I hope that we can recognize that some kids require different learning and that we should be supportive of that. I would love to see more diversity. I would love to see everybody get the test in pre-K, but don't destroy the things that, I've just watched my son blossom in a G&T environment. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Allie. We appreciate it. The next speaker is Robin Harper. Robin, are you present?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Okay, it's your turn. I'm starting.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so my name is Robin Harper. I am a mother of an incoming 9th grader, and we are absolutely delighted that my daughter is joining the NEST community. And I'm also a political science professor. So what effectively happens is the students leave your school and they end up in my classroom. So I have kind of a different sort of perspective on a lot of these things. I went to Hunter, and when I attended the school, I was miserable, and I left and I went to my local high school, and I was there for 2 weeks. And I realized that if I stayed even another week, I would drop out of school. I went back to my principal and begged to come back, because at that moment I realized that the education that I was getting was so radically different than what I could find in my local high school. Now, I don't have any children who are in the lower level G&T programs, I have to tell you, I don't believe in the way that you select children for that program. I think it's unfair, but I leave that aside. However, I know for a fact from my own children and from my own experience that there are gifted and talented children in the school. And if you're going to abandon this program, I really have to ask what it is that New York City has in mind for ways to meet the learning needs of these children so that they don't end up like I was in those 2 weeks saying, I am leaving school because this is so boring and so awful. New York City says every single time that they are going to increase parental choice in order to get and keep parents involved in the system. And the reality is that they, every single time they reduce the choices. And I don't understand how you can say that you are increasing choice by decreasing choices. It's not good policy. It erodes public trust. It's not good for democracy. New York City is once again failing our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. We appreciate your words. The next speaker is Romana Ramzan. Romana, are you present?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm going to start the timer. Thank you, Romana.
I'm a parent of a third grader at NEST+m, and I can tell you that I cried tears of joy the morning I received my son's acceptance letter. I was ready to give half my salary to a private school because that's how much I value education. I knew my son would not have his needs met in our local school. So I am fighting for accelerated learners. This program, yes, it was accessed by parental choice. I advocated for my child. We are supposed to advocate for our children. I chose to get him tested. I knew that he needed more. And I toured many local schools in Queens, and I toured many local schools where I work in Brooklyn. And I was horrified that I could not find a setting for my child. And fostering that love of learning in him when he was young to this age, and to continue to foster that was a priority for me. I know today that teachers are facing these vastly different classrooms of 25 students in kindergarten, 32 students in grades 1 through 5. And what I've seen the DOE do is year after year in Brooklyn and Queens, students are getting promoted regardless if they reach end of the year benchmark goals. And the gap widens each year in these heterogeneous classrooms. And students are coming into 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade with a range of reading levels from kindergarten to above grade level, but teachers, their attention is, the students that are below level are demanding that attention, demanding that assistance, and students who are on level or above level end up working on their own, and they're not being challenged. And I want my child's full potential to be met. And I feel that as long as he's been going to NEST, he's been thriving. And I want that for every student. I'm devastated that Mayor de Blasio is taking away this option because exactly what Edward spoke to, the gifted and talented program gave us an equitable option. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Romana. We appreciate your words. I think we're going to go to, we have a student with us who would like to speak. His name is Max Corbett. Max, are you with us? Is Max with us?
Hello.
Hi, Max. We're going to give you 2 weeks. We're going to give you 2 minutes to speak. Okay, Max? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm a freshman at NEST, and I'm here to share, obviously, my opinion on this. I personally have taken the test to enter G&T in 2nd grade. By the way, I didn't get in, which might affect my opinion on it. However, I got like a wonderful opportunity to be able to enter G&T at my local elementary school in 5th grade, which shows me how important accelerated learning programs are to meet the needs of students that require a challenge to push to a higher level. However, in saying that, it's always important that testing into an accelerated program is fair and equitable for everyone that wants to be a part of it, which does require a bit of a change to maybe the existing G&T system, but maybe not. But I don't agree with getting rid of all of it. There should be, in this change, there should be more outreach to principals and administrators to be able to come with a solution that meets for everyone. So there should be amendments to G&T, but not getting rid of accelerated learning.
Thank you so much, Max, for sharing your words. I appreciate it. The next speaker is going to be Jennifer Fox. Is Jennifer with us?
Yep, I'm here. Hold on a sec.
No worries.
Oh, I hate it when people don't go on video, and I'm trying to turn on my video because it's so
okay.
rude.
But we can hear you so clearly.
Okay, so I'm really sorry about that. It is not my intent to be off camera. Oh, there I am. Hi. So I just wanted to share that I've been aware of this issue since the SDAG was soliciting parent input back in like early 2019. And at the time, they had asked for parent input in good faith. I sent in a response and I said what I always say, which is that the reason for the lack of diversity in the programs is very largely attributable to the DOE's self-fulfilling prophecy of centralizing most of the programs in well-to-do, non-diverse neighborhoods, and then also not providing yellow bus service. So even if kids get into the school from out of district, they can't even get there. So folks don't apply, they don't test, etc. The SDAG process then went ahead and they actually invited me to one of their town halls, which was not a town hall. This is a town hall, we're all talking, we have people who are decision makers, we're having a conversation. That was not a town hall. That was some sort of a polemic. I'm not really sure what it was. And they weren't really publicly accessible, so there was no way to disseminate information about them. This whole process has gone, and that was 2.5 years ago. The city had 2.5 years to try and engage us, to try and have a conversation with us. And it is very clear through this whole process that the intent has been to shut out the stakeholders. And there is no program in the city where you could get away with that except this one. And it's just not okay. No matter what you think of it, the lack of democracy part of this is just unconscionable. And I would really like that to be addressed at some level in the DOE as you have conversations about the future of the DOE, of the future of the G&T programs. And the other issue is, of course, that, you know, regardless of what you think of the testing and the lack of inclusivity, one of the big issues is that they've just never made enough seats for the number of kids that get in. The fact is that it would be great if we actually did seat all the kids who are eligible. The DOE has actually turned off the publicly accessible information about how many kids got in, like that used to be sort of very transparent on the DOE website, and it no longer is. But it was always the case that there were only about seats for around about 1/3 of the kids who actually qualified to get into any of the G&T programs, and that's just not okay. If the DOE had made the programs less scarce and more accessible, then frankly, this whole diversity issue that they never tried to fix, and instead are just trying to eliminate the programs, that really, honestly, all of the power to fix it was at the DOE, and they really should be taking responsibility for that.
Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate your words. The next speaker is Virgil Chong. Is Virgil with us? Virgil, Are you with us? Okay.
Do you hear
Hi,
me?
Virgil. Yes, we can hear you now. I will set the timer for 2 minutes, okay?
I mean, I guess originally what I want to say, echo some things other people said about there's a lack of transparency in this whole process. But I guess I just want to turn it over to the fact that my younger son, who is not in NEST, is in a district G&T. And as far as I can tell, most of the G&T parents in that school want to have a voice, but you know, the school doesn't have a means of having the district G&T parents the opportunity to voice their opinions like this specific situation here. You know, there's no outreach to all the other district G&Ts to have those parents voice their opinions. And I wish there was some way to have, you know, the district G&T parents know about have a chance to participate in making these changes. That's it.
Thank you, Virgil. We appreciate your words. The next person to speak is Shafi Khan. Shafi, are you with us? Shafi? Maybe Shafi, are you there? If not, we will go to Yana. Let's skip to Yana.
Hello?
And come
Hello?
back.
Yes.
Safwan, are you Shafi Khan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It is your turn to speak, and I will set the timer for 2 minutes.
Yeah, so we really want this GNT school and program to continue. So it's like this is something like our city, our society, our country needs, because this talented student, they are going to serve our country. So if we don't have those opportunity and take care of them, then we're going to lose our talent, and the other parts of the world, they're going to take opportunity. So we have to be very careful with that. If we stop this gifted and talented program, so actually we are losing that. We are losing opportunity in the world. So I hope mayor and also government official, they should think about this. This is not we as a parent or other people who are getting the benefit. So this benefit gonna get the country, city, and every people.
Thank you, Shafi.
And thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate your words. The next speaker is Yana Semiglazova. Yana, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here, and I apologize, my camera isn't working. My husband will speak, actually. I'm having issues with my childcare.
No worries.
Hi.
We're ready.
So I just wanted to say that it's very disappointing that the solution that is proposed does not seem realistic or well thought out. I mean, having my son in NEST from the kindergarten and having my daughter in a regular district school, I see the difference. And I also see the challenges that the district schools have in staffing
And
their
organization
in general with their commitments as they are right now.
We had to actually switch summer rising for our summer rising program. We had to switch our younger daughter to a private camp because it was so disorganized and so bad. Whereas NEST provided a very organized curriculum, provided a Zoom meeting, and we are just very appreciative of what Megan Lynch has done this past summer to address the pandemic.
And overall, the resources that PTA and the school community brings together, along with the DOE in this school, is vastly different from what we experienced in the other school with our daughter. And it's unfortunate that the current administration, and they hopefully are going on, will try to change that, is not emulating the success of what we have here, but rather tries to destroy it and create something that's unproven and untested. Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking. We appreciate it. The next speaker is named Aaron. I don't have a last name. Aaron, parent of a 5th grader and a 7th grader. Are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Aaron. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, first, I just want to thank Principal Lynch and Superintendent Orlen for attending and listening to us this evening. I mean, I'm certainly grateful for the work that everyone's doing, and also for the tremendous community. I have to say that my feeling is one of great cynicism in terms of how this has been rolled out. To me, it feels like the mayor is playing politics with our community and with our children and with the future of this program, and that's the case because we're the low-hanging fruit in the situation, and it's very disappointing. And I think that just listening to, I'm here at basically toward the end of this meeting, just listening to the tremendous level and of support from this community and the people that are here. I mean, I'm overwhelmed, and I can understand why the mayor might feel like he doesn't want to listen to us, because this is an overwhelming community, and it's just easier not to listen to us and not have our voice heard, to make decisions about the future of our school and about this program without us. And I have to say, just that, you know, as a side note, you know, my kids were in school at PS 58 in Carroll Gardens. I mean, I know this is a lot about race, and that school, my son's class that he left to come to Nest was just about 100% white. So when he came to Nest, he experienced a much more diverse classroom and a much more diverse school than where he was at. And I don't think too much has changed over there, but again, change can be done at the citywide level by the superintendent and the mayor to our schools and our program, because it's possible.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for speaking. The next speaker is Brian. I don't have a last name. Brian, are you with us?
Yes, hi, that's me.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, I have a daughter who is a freshman, was fortunate enough to be able to join with the Nest community this year. I'm going to take a little different tack than some of the other speakers tonight, who I completely agree with what we've been hearing. But putting aside, I'm a former teacher myself, putting aside the educational philosophies, putting aside the politics, putting aside all of that, my personal experience with Nest, I cannot imagine a more inclusive, accepting, loving community right off the bat that my daughter fully embraced and appreciated. I've experienced other kids' first weeks of school. I know what it can be, and I know what she had in this school. And it's evidence enough to me right off the bat. What Nest does works. The community that's been created here works. Not just the students, the parents, the staff, the teachers, very supportive, very encouraging, and very attuned to what the kids actually need. These kids that are coming in, what they expect, what they want, how much farther they possibly can go. And it's evident to anyone with eyes when you walk in the door. So any suggestion of something that threatens that in any way, to me, should be rejected on its face. I agree that the G&T program possibly could use some improvements, possibly could use some tweaks to expand equity. But I cannot imagine a better program than what I've been privileged to see from this summer up until now. I've really only had a month with the school. So for de Blasio and for anyone to come along and say there is value to blowing that up, I can't accept it. I won't accept it. And I want to just say publicly, I will be here and be as vocal as you need me to be to make sure that no one has to accept it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for your words. We appreciate it. The next speaker is Janine Albright. Janine, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody. Thank you to Principal Lynch for allowing this forum. We were beyond ecstatic when our daughter Ryan Albright got 99th percentile for G&T and we got our first pick at NEST+m. For us, this would pave the way for success for our daughter at school and beyond. I'm a non-white person from South Africa who grew up under apartheid. I know segregation. Our schools were segregated there. I know all about what's going on in this broken school system in New York City because I lived it. They say that there is segregation at gifted and talented schools. The overarching issue is that there is segregation in the overall school system. Eliminating G&T will not change this. The status quo will remain. However, our school, NEST+m, I see multi-diversity. Our school is exemplary model for what gifted and talented schools should be. My daughter is a multiracial child. She's the first generation in our family to excel this early due to your school. To be acknowledged as gifted and placed in your school is an absolute dream for our family. I cannot imagine her not having this opportunity. She's challenged in a good way, excited about school, and is yearning for knowledge. The school provides her with the just right challenge. I'm an occupational therapist, so I would know all about this. So that she can be the best that she can be in academia. Taking away gifted and talented will place brilliant kids at a disadvantage. They will not harness their intellect and talents. They will be frustrated and stagnant in a regular curriculum. De Blasio is proposing, what he's proposing is inadequate. Accelerated learning in a regular classroom will not work. It will be insufficient for these kids. The proposal is nonsensical. These kids need more than sporadic accelerated instruction. It needs to be continuous. To train regular teachers who are already overwhelmed to cater to these children is destined to fail. What makes more sense is expanding GNT programs and providing tutoring programs to these children, to children with potential, so they can also enjoy the GNT programs. There's nothing like this in place. How can the DOE facilitate this? And also, from what I understand, de Blasio, as far as I know, his kids went to GNT. So he's a bit of a hypocrite there. Please keep our GNT in schools. Let's fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janine. Well said. Speakers and families, I want to say we've reached time. At this point, I want to turn, unfortunately, I don't think we can have any more opinions shared, but I do want to turn the floor over to Principal Lynch and Superintendent Orlen for some final words.
Okay, I'm gonna, is there a terrible echo? Okay, bear with me through the echo for 1 minute. My computer quit. And if I leave, it ends the stream. Okay, I can't. It's unlistenable. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let Vivian speak.
No, it's fine now. I muted your other.
Oh. You guys can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Donna. My actual computer is completely frozen and I can see you, but I can't do anything on the computer. So thank goodness we're finished with having to do this regularly. I just wanted to really thank everyone tonight. And, you know, I don't talk about this often, but I will say tonight, before I came to NEST as your principal, I chose the school for my child. And so everything you're talking about, the things we recognize in our kids and how we know what they need and how we know they need a special environment and teachers who are trained to understand their needs, peers who they can relate to, and a supportive, inclusive environment where they will be understood, challenged, and have their full academic and social emotional needs met is why I want to be here. It's why I love this school so much and why I'm so proud to lead it. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict the future, but I can promise you that I am committed to making sure that your children have that experience and that I will advocate for all of the kids who are not yet in our walls, because I know they need that too. And I feel really proud to be here with you tonight and really grateful to you for your honesty and for advocating for our school community. We're going to grow it bigger and better, and we're in this together. And I really love you guys, and I'm proud and honored to be your principal. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Vivian just to say some final words, and just really, again, thank you everyone. And thank you, Vivian, for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Megan. So just a few comments. There was a lot said, and I also was really trying to listen and sort of follow the chat simultaneously. So just a few things that I kind of want to touch on. So first off, if Aaron's still on the call, you are far from an overwhelming community. You are a beautiful community, you're a passionate community, your parents, and you love your kids. And the school meets the needs of your children. And you're here to both celebrate, validate, and fight for what you believe, needs to continue. And so none of you need to apologize for showing up or making any excuses for how you show up. Allie, if you're still on the call, I have had like the wonderful privilege of, there we go, of showing up into classrooms, through like Barbara holding my hand and trying to explain to me some things that are going on that I myself might not notice. But there is no doubt, Allie, that talking to your kids, particularly right in the K-5 world, I mean, I am a mom and I am a New York City resident. So I want to say that too. Like my sons didn't need what NEST has to offer. They needed something different. And, when I talk to your children and they start talking to me about, to your point, black holes, Pokemon, I don't know, the cure for cancer and world peace, there is something very unique and very special about your children. There's something unique and special about all kids, but there are some needs that as an educator, right, and as a mom of two sons, that like I recognize like it is different, and that's a fact. Nobody's going to take that away from you. So thank you for sort of sharing and speaking your truth.
Thank you.
Noah, hello. Now Noah, I want you to know a little fun fact about Vivian. She started teaching at Brooklyn Tech in 1986. And it was a life-changing experience for this white teacher showing up in the most like global classroom with many, many at that time, first-generation students. Those students were incredible. The diversity of those first classrooms I taught in with 34 high school kids, had 5 sections of them, right? About 190 kids a day. They were a very different look than what you see. And so some of what you spoke to, Noah, like really resonated for me. I understand like ways in which I think choices made by a system shifted the demographics of who we see, when you hit kind of the specialized high school world. I also really appreciated sort of the beauty to me of New York City public schools is that there's an array and that there is choice. And so when you begin to think about like eliminating those choices, you're taking away options for kids. And if you're taking away options for kids, then, I'm not really sure what we're doing. When you started talking about, yes, kids do have to test into LaGuardia and they have to audition and they have to audition for Ballet Tech. And there's all different ways that we try, I think, as a system to offer options so that we meet the beautiful diversity of New York City youth. I say I learn a lot when I show up, and I really try to listen hard. As soon as the announcement was made, Megan asked me, if I would be willing to show up here, and I didn't hesitate for a second. I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to show up with a lot of answers, but I heard a lot of what you said, and as I said before, like part of my job is to advocate on behalf of communities, and I will continue to show up to whatever I'm asked to show up by your principal. And we are in something together, and I really appreciate all your voices and what you were willing to share here. So thank you for your advocacy, and yeah, I think choice absolutely is part of the democratic process as well. So I saw that kind of play itself out in the chat. I really do care for your community, as I care for 46 other school communities. So again, yes, I will advocate. Listen, it's a moment. And like I said, I am a New York City resident, and I'm watching a city that I love and care for deeply and plan to grow old in. It's not what it was. And I have to be hopeful that you know, change is going to come and it's going to get better. But our public school system is a measure of the health of our democracy and the health of our city. And Megan knows this about me. I'm not shy, and I'm not afraid to speak my truth. And I will continue to support and advocate for your wonderful, caring, beautiful, diverse school community. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Superintendent Vivian Orlen. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Principal Lynch. Thank you, Donna Kwong, PTA co-president, and Francine and Cheryl Ann, our other PTA co-presidents. And thank you, parents and students, for showing up and joining us this evening. They're going to be more like this.
Thank you so much, everyone. So grateful. Have a beautiful evening. We will be talking again soon. Thank you all for making the time to be here tonight. And I just want to say, I see Barbara, I see AP Rossi and AP Jeremy Ducos here tonight. So I can't see the rest of my team if they're here because everything has gone black on my computer, but I want to thank them for also coming here to listen to all of your powerful voices and stories tonight. Thank you again, Vivian. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll be talking soon. Don't worry. Thank you, everybody. Recording stopped. Lisa, I'm not able to end the live stream without closing everything out. Are you able to?
Lisa, you're an amazing moderator, facilitator. Donna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vivian.
Thank you. I literally failed at the timing issue, but Lisa picked it up, no problem.
No worries. It's all
Thank
good.
you.
How many people do you think spoke this evening?
I think we got to speaker number 15.
And how many people, how many people didn't have the chance to speak?
1, 2, 3. We only had about 5 people who did not speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Not too bad.
Oh, I can see Jeremy again. Oh, look, there's your face. Hello. Hi, Barbara.
Oh, there's Jeremy. There's Barbara.
Time at our household, so it's chaos.